Parker Bronx rooting section as Parker Bronx leading at halftime 13-9. They came from behind to show what kind of class they had. Mervyn Scott making a key fumble recovery when Aho seemed to be destined to pile it on. Suddenly, Mervyn Scott comes up with a good tackle and recovered the fumble on about the 45-yard line. And then the Parker took over and marched up that field with Terry Holt carrying for 55 yards in 5 or 6 carries for the touchdown. And then Rick Lancaster kicked a point after touchdown, and the Parker Bronx led 13-9. Beanie Hughes, a great halfback for the Aho Red Raiders, has not been at all effective tonight. He had 1 or 2 good runs, but it does look like his shoulder's bothering him. And that's certainly helping Parker because he is a very, very hard man to stop. Parker unable to contain that in sweeps in the first quarter, even as they were unable to contain him for the whole game against Aho the last time. But in the second quarter, they seemed to be able to put the stop on that wide end sweep. And Gary Suter especially making good stops in his left linebacker position for the Parker Bronx. And Parker able to hold Aho, and especially the secondary of Parker, the pass defense secondary has been just great tonight. And that has been, I think, the most notable improvement of the Parker Bronx is their considerable improvement in the secondary, because Aho, with a good passer, and Arnold Johnson just hasn't been able to complete enough passes to make the difference. Also, of course, Parker going out of an offensive I formation, not using the wishbone at all this first half, and they are much more effective out of the I, especially in the pass. And, of course, with a passer like Rick Lancaster, who has got to be called great in high school football, you want to use him as much as possible. And that pass to Hal Claus was absolutely beautiful. And we were wrong. I'm sorry. The first touchdown they made was the one that Terry Holt carried 55 yards in 6 plays. The second one was mainly passing them, shoot up the yardage. A beautiful pass play from Rick Lancaster, 2 of them, to Hal Claus. The first one, they got a penalty added on for interference because the man gave a strong push, very obvious. Hal Claus is back, but he caught the ball anyway. And then a beautiful pass to Claus out on the 15-yard line. He took that ball and went all the way for the touchdown, and it's 13-9 in favor of the Parker Bronx. We'll be back with the stats right after this word.
I wonder how long it would take us to list the number of things you can still buy for $1.25. Let's see, you can get about 2.5 gallons of gasoline for your automobile. You can buy a couple of refills for your Papermate pen. It'll buy a couple of packs of cigarettes if you've got that hang up. In other words, anymore, that $1.25 won't go too far. However, the Coffee Urns in Parker has kind of their own personal fight against inflation going. The Coffee Urns has put together a lunchtime special every day of the week except Sunday for only that $1.25. Fabulous taste-tempting treats like a breaded pork chop with soup, salad, or juice, and potatoes. Or how about corned beef and cabbage, or sirloin tips, a quarter chicken, liver and onions, and on, all with all the trimmings for just $1.25. It can't be done, but the Coffee Urns is doing it anyway. The lunchtime specials begin at 11:30 a.m. and run until the special is all gone. And sometimes that's not very long. Make your next lunchtime plans to include the Coffee Urns on California Avenue in Parker.
All right, now here's Morris Zavada with the first half statistics. Hi, Vern. Turn it off, man.
Okay, Vern. Well, nice and warm up here now that we got some coffee. To start off with, in the first quarter we had a real, I guess you'd call it jitters, and good defense on both sides. We had 3 fumbles by the Parker offense in the first quarter, and we had 1 fumble by Aho in the first quarter. So we had a little fumbleitis, and of course nobody could take advantage of these fumbles. The first quarter went scoreless. Then the scoring started in the second quarter with little Louis Abril from Aho running 28 yards around his own right side, going in for the touchdown, the first touchdown of the night with 9:41 left on the clock. Then Roy Morales' kick was no good. It was off to the left, making the score 6-0 in favor of Ajo. Then Parker did move the football against this Ajo Red Raider defense. They moved it well, but again, we had the fumbles. And Roy Morales came back again for Ajo with a 22-yard field goal with 5:52 left on the clock, making the score 9-0 in Ajo. Now, it seemed like we was going to have a rerun of the last time that these two teams met. But, like I said, Parker has moved the football well against Ajo, and they did start going down the field. They went in 10 plays with Holt carrying 6 times on the ground for 55 yards. We had one pass play where we had a pass interference on Tim Peterson against Hal Claus, taking the ball down close to the Ajo Red Raider goal line. Then with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second quarter, Terry Holt went 6 yards for the first Parker touchdown in the championship game tonight. Lancaster's pass for the extra 2 points was intercepted by Bob Brown, so that made the score 9-6 at that time in favor of Ajo. Then Parker kicked off to Ajo, and Ajo started up the field for about 5 or 10 yards. And then on a handoff to Beanie Hughes, he fumbled a ball, and he had a little trouble reaching after the ball, and we thought maybe it's that bad shoulder of his that has been reported had been injured. He couldn't quite reach after the ball, and big Mervyn Scott went over the top of him, recovered the football, and right again, Parker was in scoring position. Then a beautiful 35-yard pass from from Ricky Lancaster, to Hal Claus. Claus caught the ball on about the 15-yard line. He was hit real good there, but the tackler just couldn't hang on to him. He shook him off and went the rest of the 15 yards untouched, and Lancaster's kick was off to the left. So we had a score of 13-9 at the end of the half. As far as stats goes, we had 5 first downs rushing for Ajo, none on passing. For Parker, we had 4 first downs rushing, 1 passing, total of 5 for Parker, 77 yards rushing for Parker, 73 yards passing, 5 for 9 for Lancaster. Total yards for Ajo, 116 yards rushing, 7 yards passing, 2 for 5, and we had 2 interceptions by Parker.
Thank you very much, Morris. Bronc halftime activities have been presented by Coffee Earns, the real place to satisfy a whale of a hunger. Invite you to stay tuned for the second half. The Parker Broncs versus the Ajo Red Raiders coming right up.
I wonder how long it would take us to list the number of things you can still buy for $1.25. Let's see, you can get about 2.5 gallons of gasoline for your automobile. You can buy a couple of refills for your Papermate pen. It'll buy a couple of packs of cigarettes if you've got that hang-up. In other words, any more, that $1.25 won't go too far. However, the Coffee Earns in Parker has kind of their own personal fight against inflation going. The Coffee Earns has put together a lunchtime special every day of the week, except Sunday, for only that $1.25. Fabulous taste-tempting treats like a breaded pork chop with soup, salad, or juice, and potatoes. Or how about corned beef and cabbage? Or sirloin tips, a quarter chicken, liver and onions, and on, all with all the trimmings for just $1.25. It can't be done, but the Coffee Earns is doing it anyway. The lunchtime specials begin at 11:30 a.m. and run until the special is all gone. And sometimes that's not very long. Make your next lunchtime plans to include the Coffee Earns on California Avenue in Parker.
The entire second half of this championship football game on KYOR is brought to you by Saguaro Chevrolet in Parker. When it comes to cars, talk to the lion-hearted boys at Saguaro Chevrolet. All right, it's second half time, and we're just about ready for the kickoff as the Parker Broncs take the field. Leading in this game by a score of 13-9. All right, to kick off now is Terry Holt back on his 40-yard line. Back to receive number 12, and that's Hector Federico and David Mendez, as Beanie Hughes is not starting. There's a kick, goes clear down to the 15-yard line. He fumbles the ball, David Mendez. Now hands off, and they bring him down, but there's a flag on the play, and looks like clipping. All right, it looked like there was clipping on that play. Yes, 15 yards against the Ajo Red Raiders as they got all mixed up. David Mendez fumbled, and then they had a hard time trying to hand off in the backfield, and somebody clipped, so that took the ball back to, let's see, the 18-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 to go for the Ajo Red Raiders on their own 18. Now then, in the pro set with a flanker left, pitching back to pass, and a lot of flags on the play.
Parker got the ball.
I don't know. Mervyn Scott grabbed the ball, ran for a touchdown, and the referee raised his hand, but there are flags all over the ground. Now we're going to wait now and see what happened. Mervyn Scott coming off the field. Touchdown! It is a touchdown. The penalties were against the Ajo Red Raiders. Mervyn Scott grabbed the ball, ran for a touchdown. A beautiful heads-up play by Mervyn Scott. And Parker Bronx gets 6 more points on the scoreboard. Well, Morris, that was a wild one.
Yeah, it sure was. That ball was around the left end, and of course the snap was made before the flag, and Mervyn just took the ball away from him.
Left guard was offside, says Hurley Fisher, our spotter, and that's what the flags were all about. Mervyn Scott took the ball and ran for a touchdown. Nobody laid a hand on him, and it's 6 more points. 19-9, and there's the kick. It is good. It is good. Oh, wait a minute. There's a flag down. A flag on a play. No, we'll wait and see. The illegal procedure against Parker, and that nullifies that point after touchdown. They did not get a chance to kick it over. So it's going to be 19-9. It remains as the Parker Bronx lead by 10 points in this game. And that was a wild play. Reminds me of one I saw just like it when I was a boy in high school at San Fernando High School. A fellow called Tom Wong picked up the ball that everybody had let lay there, but the man had not blown a whistle, and he picked it up, ran for a touchdown, and it was good. Same kind of play here. All right, now they're going to try. They do get a try. All right, there's a kick. This time from way back in it. It is good. It is good. So it's 20-9 in favor of the Parker Bronx. So we'll be right back with the kickoff.
Saguaro Chevrolet has one of those cars that makes it so easy to see the USA in, especially this holiday season when you'll be traveling about more than usual, carting more people than usual. You need enough room so everyone can be comfortable. Here's the car, a 1970 Caprice 4-door with power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and all the comfort options that make this car an experience in luxury. Price? Not luxurious, just $29.95. See it at Saguaro Chevrolet and enjoy luxury this Christmas.
Morris, is something you goofed up on?
Well, my one mistake tonight, or two. I did say when I was giving the stats that Lancaster's kick was off to the left on that one touchdown, but he did make the extra point. I said it was no good, but it was.
Okay. Well, you said it was no good. That was the second one he made? Well, that's all right, because I said it was good. Nobody knew the difference. Okay. 20-9 in favor of the Parker Bronx. Back to receive is Beanie Hughes. Beanie Hughes back in this game as Tong Dingman pulls out all the stops, trailing this game by 10 points. There's the kick coming down to the 10-yard line, and it is Beanie. He's back to the 15, the 20, the 25, the 30, and knocked down on the 36-yard line. Robert Melton, the cornerback for the Parker Bronx, bringing down Beanie Hughes. So it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Ajo Red Raiders on their own 37-yard line. We have 11 minutes, 32 seconds to play in the third quarter as the Parker Bronx lead by a score of 20-9. All right, I made a mistake, too. They're leading by 11 points, not 10, as they did make the kick. All right, on the first play, it's a handoff to number 24 going over right tackle, Louis Abril, the fullback, brought down by Melvin Lewis after about 2-yard gain. Tyrone Gorman assisting on that tackle. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Ajo Red Raiders.
I'll tell you, if there's anything more discouraging is to get something like that and get scored on it. If there's something more encouraging, that's what Parker did.
Right. All right, in a pro set now. With a flanker right. Arnold Johnson calls signals. He fades back to pass. He passes. It's complete. No, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That was Bob Brown, the left end, who took that ball and turned, but as he turned, it got out of his hands, went out of bounds. So it's going to be 3rd down and 8. 3rd and 8 for the Ajo Red Raiders as Arnold Johnson passing under pressure that time, and they're having to pass the little flare-out passes and a little down-and-out passes because Parker secondary has been grabbing off those balls they've been trying to throw back into the Parker secondary. All right, now they split flanker right and then wide left, and Johnson fades back to pass. He hands off on a bootleg, and coming around, making the 1st down, and going down to the Parker 46-yard line is number 24, Luis Abril, on the old Statue of Liberty play. Caught Parker napping as Johnson fades back to pass on a pass, obvious pass play, and hands off on the Statue of Liberty. However, that's not a play that'll go very often. It did get them the 1st down, however. They're down in Parker territory on the 47.5-yard line, right between the 2-yard markers, the 45 and 50. They come out on 1st down, 10 minutes, 40 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, in the wishbone. Johnson looks over the defense. He calls signals, hands off to second man through, hit at the line of scrimmage, but gets away and goes up for about 3 or 4 yards. It's David Mendez in there for Beanie Hughes, brought down by Danny Rehberger, Joe Martinez, and Danny Beaver. He makes 3 yards on that play. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Ajo Red Raiders. The ball resting just past the Parker 45-yard line. 2nd and 7. We have 10 minutes, 13 seconds to play. A long, long call. I don't think they're going to make it. They're going to have to hurry as a referee looks at his watch. Oh, now they send a flanker and an end wide right. Spread formation. Johnson calling signals. He fades back to pass. Rolls back. Now he passes long downfield. Oh, it was grabbed by the man, and 14, Robert Melton, is the boy that broke up that pass. Robert Melton coming around and hitting both hands of the intended receiver. And I think that was Bob Brown long down there. It was right into his hands, and he was behind his defender. However, Melton came around and hit both his hands and knocked the ball out. So it's incomplete. 3rd and 7 on the 45-yard line. Now in this pro set, they have a flanker right. Johnson called signals. And he pitches back to the left and going around left tackle and making a left end rather, making a 1st down is again David Mendez in there for Beanie Hughes. And Mendez is no slouch. He is a fast man. Melvin Lewis driving out of bounds on the Parker 35-yard line. It's 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx on the, for Ajo on the Parker Bronx 35. All right, we'll get it all straight. 9 minutes, 52 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. And Danny Beaver comes out of the defensive backfield for the Parker Bronx. Time out on the field, time in for this message. What was that? All right, Beanie Hughes in now for the Parker,
You've known for a long time that the family has needed a second car, right? You take the car to work every day, and everybody else uses up shoe leather. Or depending on how forceful the little lady is, maybe it's the other way around, huh? Either way, Saguaro Chevrolet would like to acquaint you with a little beauty or two that might fit in with your Christmas budget. You might take a long look at the 1970 Ford Mustang Fastback that they've been talking about. This is a bright yellow car with rich black vinyl bucket seats. It's got a big V8 with a 4-speed transmission. And Saguaro Chevrolet has it priced at $2,175. Not bad, especially if someone in your family has sports car blood in them. This is the kind of car that doubles as the family's second car, especially when it's sort of designated for use by the teenagers. In your home this year, Christmas could be a bright yellow Mustang. See the lion-hearted boys at Saguaro Chevrolet for details. What was that? All right, Beanie Hughes.
Hughes in now for Aho, and he takes the ball and goes clear down to the 20-yard line. It's a first down for the Aho Red Raiders. Number 62 bringing down Beanie after a good run around right in. And Beanie Hughes, a very difficult man to stop. 62 is George Butteroff for the Parker Broncs. Bring him down on the Parker Bronc 22-yard line. First and 10 to go for the Aho Red Raiders as Beanie Hughes rips off yardage wide around right in. And on those end sweeps, he is a hard man to bring down. All right, this time they have a pro set with a flanker wide left. Johnson doesn't seem to know for sure what's going on. Now he's calling signals. And takes a long time. Now it pitches back, and in and out of the hands of Beanie Hughes, going back to the 35, and he's hit there and brought down hard. It's Terry Holt cracking in from his right linebacker position and bringing down Beanie Hughes for a loss on a play. A long loss, 10 yards. Beanie Hughes, I think, probably a sore shoulder helped him to fumble that ball. And so it's going to be second down, and let's see, he lost 11 yards. It's going to be second and 21 for the Aho Red Raiders. The ball back on the Parker Bronc 33-yard line. Just 8.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Aho comes out now in a pro set with a flanker wide right. Johnson fades back to pass. Fades back. Now he passes long downfield. There's a man there, but breaking up the play is Ronnie Matthijs, and a beautiful play. Intended for Bob Brown again, and a beautiful long pass would have been right on target, but Ronnie Matthijs, eagle-eyed, comes in there with Danny Rehberger, and Matthijs puts the stop on that ball. Almost intercepted it. Now Danny Beaver coming back in for the Parker Broncs. And he'll be replacing number 67, Dean Howardson, for the, 62. And that's George Butteroff coming out. Okay, in the pro set, the flanker wide right. On third down and long yardage, again fading back to pass. Johnson passes complete, and the man is finally dragged out of bounds. He was hit by 4 or 5 men there, but finally dragged out of bounds. It was Beanie Hughes receiving that pass behind the line of scrimmage and then running for about 12 yards. But it's going to be fourth down. Ronnie Matthijs finally bringing him out of bounds, and Beanie Hughes is a hard man to stop. I don't envy anybody that job. Fourth down and 6 yards to go for the Aho Red Raiders. They had long yardage. They made up a lot of it, but they still have 6 to go. 4th and 6, the ball resting on the 18-yard line, about the 18-yard line. All right, Aho comes out on fourth down. They have pro set, the flanker right. Fading back to pass is Johnson. He passes right over center, complete for first down. Complete to number 84, Terry Holt, bringing him down. That's Tim Peterson playing left end, and a little flat pass right over center to Peterson, carries it down for the first down. So Aho comes through under pressure. Ronnie Matthijs assisting on that tackle. First and goal to go for the Aho Red Raiders. The ball on the Parker 9-yard line as Johnson threaded the needle on that pass, and Robert Melton comes out as Coach John Mundell puts in a little beef over there. He's got 3 linebackers now behind that line. 4 linebackers. 3 linebackers, 2 men back, and a 7-man line. All right, in the wishbone, Johnson calls signals, hands off to the tailback, Hughes, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage, brought down after maybe yard gain. Tyrone Gorman putting a stop on Beanie Hughes as Beanie tried to rip off over right tackle, but makes no yardage on the play. Now Robert Melton comes in for Ronnie Matthijs.
I was going to say, Vern, with this size of a sizable lead, it sometimes tends to make the defense lax a little bit, so we're not over by a long shot.
Oh, there's a quarter and a half to play yet in this game, with 7 minutes left on the clock in the third quarter. All right, Aho comes out now. They've got a flanker and an end, split wide left. They're in a passing formation, and the Parker Broncs get set. And a handoff goes to number 24, going right over center, Louis Abril, and he makes about 3 yards on a play. Melvin Lewis, Gary Suter teaming up to bring him down after 2 yards at the most. About, we'll say 2 yards, but no more. It'll be third down and 6 to go. Third and goal to go from the 6-yard line. As the Aho Red Raiders call timeout, and we'll take time in for this message.
We like to see smiling and feeling good when you drive a Chevrolet. That's why we're doing a little bit extra this year. We've got a better way. We've got a better way. We've got a friendly way to make you glad you drive a Chevrolet.
Saguaro Chevrolet's better way is to supply better cars at better prices. What better way? Like Saguaro Chevrolet's Little Vega. Here's a brand new 1971 Vega two-door sedan with 4-speed and 110 horsepower economical 4-cylinder engine. It's a sporty red with parchment interior, just your size. See it at Saguaro Chevrolet.
Helpful way, we've got a friendly way to make you glad to drive a Chevrolet.
Saguaro Chevrolet in Parker, open now.
You're tuned to KYOR 1450, Blythe, California. Voice of the Parker Bronx in the Parker and Palo Verde Valleys. It's 27 minutes now before 2 Arizona time. And this bulletin, again reminding you that the California Highway Patrol in Blythe has closed Interstate 10 west of Blythe to campers and trailers due to high winds and heavy sand damage. All other travelers are strongly advised not to travel Interstate 10.
Third down, 6 yards to go from the 6-yard line for touchdown. As in a pro set, a flanker left. Johnson calling those signals. He pitches out to Beanie Hughes going around left end, and he's hit and brought down after just a couple of yards. Who was that man who brought him down? Gary Suter and Terry Holt. Suter was the man that brought him down. Good heads-up play by Gary Suter, playing right cornerback for the Parker Bronx. Really, he's playing a right linebacker, as they have 3 linebackers in there. And he broke in there and stopped Beanie after only a yard gain. So it's 4th down, and it looks like they're going to try a field goal. They sent in their kicker, Roy Morales, at any rate. It's 4th down from the 5-yard line. 4th and 5 to the goal line. Robert Melton coming out again. Not him, but Tice in. Quarterback holding that ball. It may be a fake. No, he's going to kick it. And he does kick it. And it's no good, off to the right. No, it is good. It is good. And the score is 12-20 in favor of the Parker Bronx. 20-12. And we'll be right back with the kickoff in just a moment.
Once upon a time, there was a little Chevrolet dealer by the name of Gene Sellers who lived in Parker, Arizona. For many years, his agency had been supplying new Chevrolets to the Parker area, and everyone loved him so. He also had a lot of used cars that he always took real good care of, because he knew that he would probably get them back in trade many years later. One day, he ran out of these good used cars, and he didn't know what to do. So in order to entice people into selling him their cars, he offered top dollar trade-in money, better than anyone else could do, just so he could get some more in stock. But there was one basic flaw in his theory. He never quit giving that top dollar.
Third quarter, the Parker's going to get the ball at this kickoff. Complete ball control by the Ajo Red Raiders. Now there's the kick down to the 10, and Danny Rehberger comes out, fakes a handoff to Terry Holt, cuts upfield to the 20, the 25, 24-yard line. Brought down there by number 44. We have no 44, though, on our lineup. All right, 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx on their own 24-yard line. We have 5 minutes, 34 seconds left to play in the third quarter, with the Ajo Red Raiders trailing in this game now, 12-20. All right, in the I formation, wing back right. Lancaster pitches a quick one right over center, complete to Hal Claus for about 4 or 5 yards on a play. Little look-in pass to Hal Claus as he runs down and out, and bring down is Bob Brown for the Ajo Red Raiders. It's going to be 2nd and 5.5 for the Parker Bronx. The ball up there on the 28-yard line. In the I formation, the flanker left. Handoff goes to Martinez, I think, but he makes... Oh, intercepted! Taking the ball away and coming down. Going all the way for the Ajo Red Raiders. Going all the way for the Ajo Red Raiders for a touchdown. Number 76 took the ball away just as Felix Vega took that ball away, even as Mervyn Scott had done earlier. And runs it over for a touchdown for the Ajo Red Raiders. And now it's 20-18 in favor of the Parker Bronx. 20-18. And if they can hold them on this, Parker will still be ahead. But if they make a 2-point pass or a run, it'll tie it up. As Ajo steals the ball, even as Mervyn Scott stole it earlier and ran for a touchdown. 20-18 in favor of the Parker Bronx at the moment. They're waiting for the kick now. Or at least for the try for the point after touchdown. And they are at least in a kick formation. Roy Morales back. Right, offsides. And against Ajo. So it's going to be 5 yards farther away. It was delay of game, and it's about time they got that. They've been very slow on several of their plays, and now they're called for a delay of game, 5 yards, and that brings the ball back to the 8-yard line. The ball resting on the 8-yard line as they try for this important point after touchdown. All right, he does kick it, and it is good. And Parker leads by 1 point, 20-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx with 4 minutes, 51 seconds left to play in this third quarter. We'll keep it right here and wait for the kickoff. All right, here's the kickoff. Roy Morales boots it down to Terry Holt. No, it's going to Ronnie Matthijs. He's back up to the 20, the 25, and down on the 27, 28-yard line. Ronnie Matthijs brought down there by Hector Frederico of the Ajo Red Raiders. Also in on the tackle for Ajo, Tubby Rivera. So it's going to be 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx on their own 28-yard line as Ronnie Matthijs runs it back from his own 20. 4 minutes, 43 seconds in the third quarter. In the I formation, the flanker right. Lancaster pitches back to Terry Holt coming around left end. He hit behind the line of scrimmage, gets away from one tackler, and makes it up for about 3 yards. Finally bringing him down is number 61, Floyd Mattia, as Terry Holt breaks one tackle behind the line of scrimmage and gets it up for a couple of yards, well, almost 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and about 7, a little over 7. 2nd and a long 7 for the Parker Bronx. The ball on the 31-yard line. Now they break the huddle. They come up to the line of scrimmage in the full house. No, in the I formation, have a flanker wide right. Lancaster fades back to pass. He passes long downfield. Oh, intended for Gary Suter, but over his head and to his left, and almost intercepting number 30, Jaime Alvarez. At least he was the only man to get a hand on the ball. Intended for Gary Suter, a long pass down to the Ajo 40-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd down, 3rd and long 7, as Danny Beaver comes back in. No, I'm sorry, Tyrone Gorman coming back in for Andy Ning. 3rd down, a long 7 for the Parker Bronx. 3 minutes, 55 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter as it stopped. The full house eye this time. Rehberger in motion to the right. Lancaster fades back to pass again. He passes long downfield to Rehberger. He completed the 50 down to the 45 and brought down on the 44-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. Bringing him down there is Bob Brown and assisting him, Beanie Hughes. They bring down Denny Rehberger on the Ajo 48-yard line. 48-yard line. 1st and 10 to go for Parker. 3 minutes, 43 seconds left to go as Rick Lancaster, a beautiful long pass. Rehberger was closely covered. Then he broke into the clear, and Lancaster let it fly right on target. On 1st down, they come out in the full house eye. In motion again. Rehberger to the right. Lancaster fades back to pass. He passes, a screen pass, but too long over the head of Terry Holt. And that's a very difficult pass to throw because it's only about 8 yards, and you have to throw it softly on the run. And it's a very difficult pass over the head of Terry Holt.
They had one defender that was watching that screen pass. You've seen the first fake, and he couldn't pass it to him.
Right, they had intended it, I think, for Rehberger, but he had to pass over to Holt on his left, And in very fast was the left end. I think Tim Peterson for the Ajo Red Raiders, forcing Lancaster to throw that quickly, but it was a good play, a screen pass, but it was incomplete. All right, with a flanker wide right on second down, Lancaster fades back to pass. Pass is complete. Complete down to the 40-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. Bring him down, Beanie Hughes. And I don't know, not quite enough for the first down, I don't think. It was Hal Claus who caught it. A beautiful catch again for Hal because he was hit as the ball touched his hands, but he hung on to it anyway and went down at about the 38-yard line. And they're going to measure the ball. Timeout for measurement, time in. It is a first down. Just barely a first down, but a beautiful pass play and a great catch by Hal Claus on the 38-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. 1st and 10 to go. In the I formation, a flanker wide right is Rehberger. Lancaster fades back to pass. He's being chased. Pass is quick. To complete to Terry Holt down to the 35, the 33-yard line. Bringing him down is number 64, Roy Morales. And that was a great pass under pressure by Rick Lancaster. He was, again, that was that left end coming in. Their left end, Tim Peterson, came right on to Lancaster. Lancaster had to pass that ball over his shoulder on the run and completed it to Terry Holt, who behind the line of scrimmage ripped off 6 yards. It's, well, 5 yards. 2nd and 5. 2.5 minutes left to play. In the I formation, a wingback right. Hand off to Holt, going over left tackle. And he's going to break it down. He's into the 20, the 15, and out of bounds on the 15-yard line. Number 30, Jaime Alvarez, finally bringing Terry Holt down. Terry Holt faked a cut back to the right and then put on a burst of speed to run away from Jaime, force him to cut his angle down, and it's a first down for the Parker Broncs on the Ajo Red Raiders 15-yard line. 2 minutes, 17 seconds left to play in the third quarter as Parker threatening down on Ajo's 15-yard line. Rehberger is a flanker wide right in the I formation. Lancaster fades back to pass. Pass is complete. Complete to Gary Suter, who was on the ground. I thought for a moment he trapped it, but it's referee says it's complete down to the 5-yard line. It's John Webster, the left end. A beautiful pass right to Webster, who was on his knees, scooped it off, a foot off the ground, very close to a first down. I think, no, they're not going to measure it.
First down.
Yes, they say it's a first down. Well, Parker had broken the huddle already, and I thought for a moment they weren't even going to do anything. But it is a first down. And 1st and goal to go for the Parker Broncs. The ball on the 5-yard line. A great pass and a beautiful catch by John Webster. All right, 1st and 10, a flanker right. Lancaster on a keeper, going over right tackle. And he's in there. He's in there for the touchdown on the keeper. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. They did a signal for the touchdown. All right, the ball. This is what happened. The ball is down right on the 1-inch line. And we had several signals by Parker players that was a touchdown, but it is not. It's 2nd down and 1 inch to go in the I formation of wingback right. And Lancaster on a keeper. This time he is in there. Lancaster on the keeper goes over for 1 inch and the touchdown. And the score is 26-19 in favor of the Parker Broncs. And now we're going to try for that point after touchdown, which, as it turns out, has been very important in this game. 26-19 as Parker Broncs again get on the scoreboard, and these could be very important point after touchdown. Rick Lancaster back to kick on the 15-yard line, holding for him Ronnie Matthijs, and he does boot it. And it is good right through the uprights, and it's 27. No, the scoreboard has 28, but it's 27-19, and we'll be right back with a kickoff.
Once upon a time, there was a little Chevrolet dealer by the name of Gene Sellers who lived in Parker, Arizona. For many years, his agency had been supplying new Chevrolets to the Parker area, and everyone loved him so. He also had a lot of used cars that he always took real good care of, because he knew that he would probably get them back in trade many years later. One day, he ran out of these good used cars, and he didn't know what to do. So in order to entice people into selling him their cars, he offered top dollar trade-in money, better than anyone else could do, just so he could get some more in stock. But there was one basic flaw in his theory. He never quit giving that top dollar.
Kicking off for the Parker Bronx now is Terry Holt. Back to receive, Beanie Hughes and David Mendez. They're two scatbacks back on the 10-yard line. The wind is no wind. It's almost calm right now as Terry Holt approaches the ball. He boots it. A long kick going clear down to the 10. And Hughes takes it, fakes a handoff to Mendez. Goes around his left tackle, left end rather, and he's hit. He brought it back about 7 yards. Bringing him down is number 63, Joe Martinez, putting a stop on Beanie Hughes. And the ball is down on the 24-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. 1st and 10 to go for Ajo on their own 24-yard line. Joe Martinez, who made the tackle, coming off the field.
I tell you, Vern, if anybody's going to take this state title away from this Big Blue, they're sure going to have to earn it.
You're right, Morris. It's been a good game, and Parker Bronx have really come from behind to look strong. All right, Ajo comes out now in a pro set. They have a flanker wide left. Back is David Mendez, and the ball goes to number 24, Luis Abril, who makes very little yardage. Looked like a mix-up in a play. Tyrone Gorman putting a stop on him. We have just 24 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter. The ball right on the 25-yard line. They made about a foot on the play. It'll be second down and 10. Second and 10 for the Ajo Red Raiders. Long 9. They come out now. They have a T formation, split T, the flanker right. And Johnson calls the signals, hands off to his tailback, and he comes over right tackle. Number 24, Luis Abril, making about 3 or 4 yards on a play. Putting a stop, Mervyn Scott and Melvin Lewis. Melvin Lewis, the linebacker. And that's the end of the third quarter with a score 27-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx. We'll be right back with the fourth quarter of play in a moment.
Saguaro Chevrolet has one of those cars that makes it so easy to see the USA in, especially this holiday season when you'll be traveling about more than usual, carting more people than usual. You need enough room so everyone can be comfortable. Here's the car, a 1970 Caprice 4-door with power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and all the comfort options that make this car an experience in luxury. Price? Not luxurious, just $29.95. See it at Saguaro Chevrolet and enjoy luxury this Christmas.
All right, fourth quarter play brought to you by Saguaro Chevrolet. And coming out now, the Ajo Red Raiders fading back to pass. Arnold Johnson passes over the head and intended receiver, Bob Brown. And it's going to be 4th down and 6 yards to go. 4th and 6, and they're going to have to boot it. They're deep in their own territory on 4th down. And Ajo's going to be forced to give up the ball. The ball is on the 28-yard line. Taking a timeout, Ajo, timeout on the field, time in for Saguaro Chevrolet.
You've known for a long time that the family has needed a second car, right? You take the car to work every day and everybody else uses up shoe leather. Or depending on how forceful the little lady is, maybe it's the other way around, huh? Either way, Saguaro Chevrolet would like to acquaint you with a little beauty or two that might fit in with your Christmas budget. You might take a long look at the 1970 Ford Mustang Fastback that they've been talking about. This is a bright yellow car with rich black vinyl bucket seats. It's got a big V8 with a 4-speed transmission. And Saguaro Chevrolet has it priced at $2,175. Not bad, especially if someone in your family has sports car blood in them. This is the kind of car that doubles as the family's second car, especially when it's sort of designated for use by the teenagers. In your home this year, Christmas could be a bright yellow Mustang. See the lion-hearted boys at Saguaro Chevrolet for the Tails.
Talking us over. Johnson talking over with his coach. Want to know what to do on 4th and 6. They're in punt formation, but they do not have their punter back. They have the quarterback back, so it looks like a fake. It is a fake. Johnson going to pass long downfield and complete. And Parker was sound asleep on that one. Number 26, David Mendez, catching that ball down on... oh, but wait a minute. There's a flag on the play. Illegal procedure, says Morris Savada. And all right, we don't know why Parker was sleeping on that, but there was illegal procedure, so they're going to have to do it over again. This time back 11 yards for a first down. They're back on their own 18-yard line. And Parker should have been wide awake for that one. With Johnson is not a kicker, and that's the first time he ever went back. It was an obvious pass play, but they just weren't looking for it. All right. Again, they're going to try it. And this time he does boot it, just barely gets it away. And I think it's going to go out of bounds. Goes out of bounds after short yardage, just barely up to the original first down marker, I think. We'll have to wait and see where the referee puts that because it went out of bounds. I think it's going to be on the Ajo 37-yard line. On the Ajo 37, 1st and 10 to go for Parker Bronx as they get great field position on that one. And that was a good penalty for Parker. That little 5-yarder really counted. All right, Parker on first down. On the 37. And handoff to Holt, going over right tackle. Making good yardage on the play. About 5 yards up to the 29-yard line. Bringing him down there is Randy Peters for the Red Raiders. So it's going to be 2nd down and 5. 2nd and 5 for the Parker Bronx. 10 minutes, 52 seconds left to play in this game. Parker driving down to Ajo's 32-yard line. And Parker has come back from behind to outpower the Ajo Red Raiders on their own play. And that's the play around in and off tackle by Terry Holt. And the I formation, the wing back right, the handoff to Holt. Again over right tackle, making good yardage on the play. Made about 3 yards on the play. Bring him down. Number 84 is Tim Peterson. Tim Peterson bringing down Terry Holt. But he made 4 yards on that play. It's going to be 3rd down and about 1. No, it is even less than 1. They're going to have to measure it. The ball up on the Ajo 27.5-yard line, I guess.
I like the way these officials stand there and spot to look at the ball and they just let the clock run while they're doing that.
Okay, coming in to measure now. All right, they do not make it, but they're only short by inches. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 inches to go for Parker. They have the I formation, and the wing back right is Danny Rehberger. And on a keeper, he makes it. Lancaster going over left guard on a keeper, makes the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 to go. Put the stopping on there. It is Tim Peterson also in there. Richard Francisco for the Ajo Red Raiders. 1st and 10 to go for Parker. The ball on the 26-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. 1st and 10 on the 26. 9 minutes, 54 seconds left to play in this game. Parker leads 27-19. If they can get on the clock again, it'll really put the pressure on Ajo Red Raiders. All right, on the I, the wingback right is Rehberger. Fading back to pass. Lancaster has all day. Finally fires it. Complete. Down to the 30-yard line. Almost to the 30. And tackling him there is Jaime Alvarez. Well, I agree with you there, Morris. That's the worst call I ever saw. He caught it on the 30-yard line. He was thrown back. I mean, on the 20. He was thrown up to the 23-yard line. Thrown back to the 23. And that's where they placed the ball, on the 23. And you just cannot call that play that way. It should have been where his forward progress was stopped because he was thrown back, obviously. All right, 2nd down and 7. And handing off to Terry Holt. That's on the right tackle. And goes down to the 15-yard line, number 30. Again, Jaime Alvarez running Terry Holt out of bounds. Down on the 15-yard line is 1st and 10 for the Parker Bronx. 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx as Terry Holt rips it off around left tackle and splitting out toward the sideline. No, the 14-yard line, they say. 1st and 10 on the 14. 9 minutes to play, and Parker now controlling the ball in the fourth quarter. In the I formation, the wing back right is Rehberger. Long count by Lancaster. Pitch back to Holt again. This time he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Number 68, smelled that one out. Rob Peterson bring down Terry Holt on about the 19-yard line. 18-yard line, so it's going to be second down and 14. Second and 14 for the Parker Broncs as they lose yardage on that play. Number 52 is Rick Sellers. He came in for Steve Hatch for the Parker Broncs. And that's one of the JVs, substituting both JVs for that matter. In motion is Rehberger to the right. Lancaster fades back to pass, slips, and is brought down. No gain. Rick Lancaster lost his footing on that play, and number 50, who is Tom Schultz. Tom Schultz bring him down for a yard loss, or 2-yard loss. It's going to be third down and 16 from the 20-yard line as Parker going backwards now instead of forward.
I'd still like to see him lose it rather than have somebody intercept it. That was a good play.
You lose the yardage. Don't say lose it like that. All right, in the full house eye, Rick Lancaster, Rehberger in motion. Again, he fades back to pass. Passes complete. How close? Down to the 15-yard line. Almost down to the original line of scrimmage. And this time they put the ball down where it belongs. So it's going to be fourth down and 1 yard to go on the 15. 4th and 1 on the 15-yard line. Timeout, Parker, and time in for Silvaro Chevrolet.
We like to see you smiling and feeling good when you drive a Chevrolet. That's why we're doing a little bit extra this year. We've got a better way. We've got a better way. We've got a friendly way to make you glad to drive a Chevrolet.
Saguaro Chevrolet's better way is to supply better cars at better prices. What better way? Like Saguaro Chevrolet's Little Vega. Here's a brand new 1971 Vega 2-door sedan with 4-speed and 110 horsepower economical 4-cylinder engine. It's a sporty red with parchment interior, just your size. See it at Saguaro Chevrolet.
Helpful way, we got a friendly way to make you glad to drive a Chevrolet.
Saguaro Chevrolet in Parker, open now.
You're tuned to KYOR 1450, Blythe, California. 57 degrees at the Blythe Airport. Winds out of the north, 15, gusting to 20 miles per hour. And this weather bulletin, the California Highway Patrol in Blythe has closed Interstate 10 west of Blythe to campers and trailers due to high winds and heavy sand damage. All other travelers are strongly advised not to travel Interstate 10.
All right, check that 1 yard to go. Sorry, we're looking at the wrong yard marker. It's 4th and 11. 4th and 11 on the 15-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. Parker Broncs have one more down to try this here with 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter, the fourth and final quarter of the game. Now they come out of the huddle. Slowly up to the line of scrimmage in the I formation. The wingback this time is Rehberger to the left. Lancaster hands off to Holt. Goes over left tackle, down to the 5. The 3's into a touchdown. Terry Holt with a beautiful run. Terry Holt just ripping off 15 yards over left tackle for the touchdown for the Parker Broncs. Beautiful run. And a wide open hole. You could have driven 3 Mervyn Scotts through it.
That's the last play I would have ever expected.
Well, I don't know who called it, Coach or Rick, but it was a beautiful call and a great run by Terry Holt to cap his senior year as he rips off 15 yards for touchdown. 7 minutes, 26 seconds left to play in the game. The pressure is on the Raiders. 35-19 is the score, and Rick kicks another one. Right through the uprights. It's 36-19 in favor of Parker. We'll be right back with the kickoff.
Once upon a time, there was a little Chevrolet dealer by the name of Gene Sellers who lived in Parker, Arizona. For many years, his agency had been supplying new Chevrolets to the Parker area, and everyone loved him so. He also had a lot of used cars that he always took real good care of, because he knew that he would probably get them back in trade many years later. One day, he ran out of these good used cars, and he didn't know what to do. So in order to entice people into selling him their cars, he offered top dollar trade-in money, better than anyone else could do, just so he could get some more in stock. But there was one basic flaw in his theory. He never quit giving that top dollar.
All right, for the kickoff, Terry Holt now back to receive is David Mendez and number 24, Luis Abril. Benny Hughes, apparently ailing, is not in there. And there's the Holt kick, a nice kick. Beauty coming down on the 11-yard line. It's Luis Abril fakes a handoff. He's coming back to the 20. No, he's not going to make it to the 20. He's racked up on the 17-yard line. It's two juniors who put the stop on him. Ted Schill and Dennis Harper bringing down Luis Abril.
Vern Parker's been looking for this rematch all year long, and they're sure taking advantage of it.
It's beautiful, Morris. Couldn't ask for any more. But in the I formation off, no, it is not. It's a pro set with a flanker right. Johnson fades back to pass. He is not going to be able to. He has to eat it on the 5-yard line. Mervyn Scott and Tyrone Gorman and Mike Dobbs and Danny Beaver all in there on Arnold Johnson. And I'll tell you why he had to eat it, Morris, because there was nobody to pass to. A great secondary effort by the backfield in the Parker Bronx.
Well, we've talked all year long about this fine pass defense that Parker has, but I don't think anybody still believes it.
It's beautiful. Of course, the first two games, they were pretty sloppy, but since then they have come on, and this is the best secondary defense we have seen Parker mount. Just stymied Johnson in his passing. All right, comes out, second down, 20 yards almost to go. Johnson fades back behind his goal line. He passes a screen pass complete to number 24, Abril. He gets back up to the 15-yard line, the 16-yard line, the original line of scrimmage, and brought down by Tyrone Gorman. No, he does not get back to the original line of scrimmage. He gets up to the 15. So it's going to be third down and 11. Third and 12. Third and 12 for the Ajo Red Raiders on their own 15-yard line. 5 minutes, 56 seconds left to play as Parker leads by 15 points, at least 2 touchdowns. All right, in the split D, fading back to pass. Johnson passes over the head. The intended receiver, number 84, Tim Peterson, over his head at the 22-yard line.
We now have the same thing that we had it back in Parker. We're having bad pass protection for Johnson now, and he's not throwing well.
That's right. It's hard to throw when you don't have time. Number 84, Tim Peterson, is their great end. He's all-conference. And also Hal Kloss, number 84, is all-conference for the Parker Bronx, Morris. As an end, too. All right, back to kick. Roy Morales kicks a quick one. Coming up to about mid-stride. No, back to the 45. Taken there by Riedberger. He's back up to the 50. And he's going to be down. Oops, there's a flag on a play. And it looks like Ronnie Mattice is going to be called for clipping. Ronnie Mattice, I think, is going to be called for clipping the ball on the 47-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. Yes, they're calling it off. Back to the 40... Whoa, it's holding, he says. Back to the 41-yard line. Okay, holding against Ronnie Mattice.
We talk about these good pass receivers, Vern. Anybody can actually get out there and catch a pass, but it's when you can hear somebody's footsteps coming up behind you and be able to hang on to that ball and get hit.
Just beautiful. Claus has been clobbered twice, and he did not drop that ball tonight. All right, on the 35-yard line, Terry Holt gets the handoff, comes up for about 2 yards gain is all, and he's caught there by Beanie Hughes. Number 68 is Rob Peterson. But there's a man hurt for the Ajo Red Raiders back on the 39-yard line. We thought he was just pounding the ground because he was mad, but he's hurt. It's number 61, and that is Floyd Matia.
He's mad.
It's second down, and a long 6 for the Parker Bronx. The ball resting on the 45-yard line as they minister to the man on the field.
Vern, we've talked all year long about the people in Parker's they should be proud of this Parker football team. They have been one of the most fantastic comeback ball clubs I've seen in Parker in many years, and I'm really proud. I'm proud to be a part of them and to be here broadcasting them, but they have really done fantastic, haven't they?
They certainly have, Morris, and I'm with you. This is a great team that can come from behind, and when everything looked very black when Girard upset them and Ajo dropped them, and then come back and have won every one since then, and they get better every week.
The thing about it is what makes it so good at this time, Vern, is the score. I mean, you have, you have 15 points difference right there. It's nothing close. And physically, the ball game has been all Parker. So it just makes up for the loss that they had last time.
All right, it's second down, 6 yards to go on the 45-yard line of the Parker Bronx. They come out in the eye with Rieberger, the wingback right, fading back to passes. Lancaster passes long downfield. Oh, yeah, I think so. The flag on a play as Claus put his hands up to receive that. The man hit his hand. Beanie Hughes hit him on the hand. A very obvious pass interference, and the flag did come down on about the 34-yard line. We'll see where they put the ball now as they walk it off from the line of scrimmage since the pass was incomplete down to the 41-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx and the Ajo 41 as Beanie Hughes on obvious pass interference hit the hand of Hal Claus, and Claus would have had the ball. It was right there, and when Claus is near it, nobody else gets it. All right, it's I formation, wing back right. Lancaster hands off to Holt, cracks over right tackle. Our left tackle makes good yardage. He dragged 3 tackles on a great second effort, clear up to the 34-yard line of the Ajo Red Raiders. Jaime Alvarez, number 66, Tubby Rivera also in on the tackle. Second down, 3 to go for Parker. On the eye, Lancaster fades back to pass. He's passing long downfield. Tennyford, it's complete to John Webster. He's over for a touchdown. John Webster complete at the goal line. John Webster was a beautiful pass pattern and an excellent pass by Rick Lancaster right into his hand. He was closely guarded, but the pass was perfect at the goal line, and Webster went over one step, and there's another 6 points for the Parker Bronx. The score is 40-19. 40-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx. And Ajo never going to come back with 4.5 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. It's 40-19. Ronnie Matthijs to hold on the 10-yard line. Lancaster kicks it. It is good, and it's 41-19 in favor of the Parker Bronx. We'll be right back with a kickoff in just a moment.
Saguaro Chevrolet has one of those cars that makes it so easy to see the USA in, especially this holiday season when you'll be traveling about more than usual, carting more people than usual. You need enough room so everyone can be comfortable. Here's the car, a 1970 Caprice 4-door with power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and all the comfort options that make this car an experience in luxury. Price? Not luxurious, just $29.95. See it at Saguaro Chevrolet and enjoy luxury this Christmas.
Yard line where Terry Holt brings him down.
I just wanted to say that Terry Holt was playing to the left across the field and came clear across the field to make that tackle, Vern.
One of the best games we've seen Holt. The last 2 games Terry's played have been his best for the year. Good to see Terry go out in a blaze of glory. So it's second down and 7 yards as they make 3 yards, although they did a lot of running on a dipsy-doodle, but didn't make much yardage. 2nd down and 7. Again, they have a spread formation this time, and Johnson passes over center, but incomplete, a little low. It's Tim Peterson, intended for the right end. Tim Peterson, he got it down and in and fired it right over center, but incomplete. In this ball game, Arnold Johnson has been able to complete only 3 passes. Check that. In the second half, just 3 complete passes by Johnson, and he's passed a lot of times, about 13 times, I think. Fading back to pass, Johnson again. And again, he overthrows Tim Peterson. Johnson being rushed, fired that ball too quick, and Tim Peterson unable to catch up with it. However, Peterson does not make that extra effort to jump out for the ball like Hal Claus does.
Yeah, that's true, Vern. I'll tell you one thing, too. Parker's been rushing Johnson all night long, and even when they don't rush him, he's still rushing the ball himself, thinking that they are coming after him.
And this is what Parker had to go against Aho, play catch-up. When you get behind and have to pass, you're in trouble, and that's what's happened to Aho. All right, this time they spread an end clear. No, he went off the field. All right, they spread an end route there in kick formation and getting a boot away, and a nice one, too, way down to the 30-yard line. And a free catch, fair catch by Mitchell Welch on the 30-yard line, well, the 31-yard line. So 1st and 10 to go for the Parker Broncs on their own 31, and now the part of the first string coming in there for the Parker Broncs, but they do have some substitutes. 2 minutes, 57 seconds to play in the game, and Parker leads 41-19. All right, on the I formation, the wingback right is Rehberger. And the handoff goes to Holt over left tackle. He breaks into the open. He's going, and the last man to get him brings him down on about the 42-yard line. It's number 64, Roy Morales, and he was the last man between Terry Holt and the goal line. And he put the stop on him on the 46-yard line of the Aho Red Raiders as Terry Holt rips off a long 14 yards over right, well, in between right tackle and right end. Terry Holt with one of his great performances tonight. Parker also has good timing on their plays. In the eye again. They have the wing back right. That's Rehberger. And a handoff goes to Holt again. He cracks over the left tackle and makes about 5 yards on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 5. Brought down there by Tim Peterson after a 5-yard gain. It's 2nd down and 5 for Parker Broncs. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to play in the game as Parker leads 41-19. And Aho has obviously lost this one. No way to come back from here, although Parker came back last year. 13 points they made with less time than this. All right, in the eye, the wingback is Rehberger. Their handoff goes to Rehberger. He's hit at the line of scrimmage. Makes nothing. In on the tackle, David Allen for the Aho Red Raiders. And, well, they give him up to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd down, and now comes the substitution. Wholesale substitution by Coach Don Mundell as he brings in all his JVs.
Ovation they're getting down there.
And they're getting a great hand. Even John Mundell now clapping for his players, the seniors, as they come off, and get a hand from all the fans and Coach Don Mundell. That's their last play of the 1971 season, and they have been absolutely great. All right, 1 minute, 16 seconds left on the clock. In a T formation, handoff goes to Wayne Miller, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. Miller brought down behind the line of scrimmage for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. In there on the tackle is number 68, Rob Peterson.
It makes this makes me so happy. This is only their 2nd year in Class A, and both years they're taking the title, Vern.
Right, Morris. The next year will be another reorganization. We hope they can repeat. All right, it's 4th down and 8. 4th and 8 for the Parker Broncs. Ball resting on the 43-yard line of the Aho Red Raiders. As the JVs now, it'll be the team for next year, come out in a regular T formation. And Robert Melton hands off to Wayne Miller. This time he goes over right tackle, makes about 3 yards on the play. And he's stopped there by number 84, Tim Peterson, number 54 assisting. That's David Allen. And the ball goes over to Aho as that was 4th down. And Aho gets the ball as Parker running it out, trying to run out as much of the clock as possible. First and 10 for the Ajo Red Raiders on their own 40-yard line. And just 27 seconds to play, and they have a long way to go. And now Coach Tom Dingman sends in his offensive team. I do not know yet whether it's his first-string team. We can't see the players. How they break the huddle. Yes, it is. Arnold Johnson at quarterback. I do not know whether, I think Beanie Hughes in. Yes, Beanie Hughes at right half, and Johnson fades back to pass. Being chased. Passes long downfield, a bad pass. And intercepting is Terry Holt on the 25-yard line of the Parker Bronx. Terry Holt getting it on the second bounce as Ronnie Matthijs goes up, bats the ball, but Holt comes down with it and intercepts the ball, and that stops the Ajo Red Raiders. Very bad pass. Johnson throwing a desperation pass. Dying duck just kind of floating down there, and Holt intercepts on the 25. First and 10 to go for the Parker Bronx on their own 25. And Parker Bronx, the repeat Class A champions for 1971. They're counting them off now. 2 seconds, 1 second. There it is. And Parker Bronx repeat as the Class A champions of the Arizona Interscholastic Association. And we'll be back with the wrap-up in just a moment.